And welcome back everyone, this is Jack B1024 with the second episode of Dynamic Factory. So while I wait for YouTube to process the first episode, it's time to continue now with the second one. Now, our plans for this episode is to get combinator research up and done, and also to move away from using burner mining drills and move instead to using electronic mining drills. So we'll get a few of them set up right now, and also to stabilize our coal supply to our electric engines. So we'll need some electric mining drills and a few burner mining drills as backup, supplying coal, get a few electric mining drills down here, and finally a few on our iron patch, which is where I'm going to start off adding my electric mining drills. Hopefully by the end of this episode we will have circuit network set up and we will be on our way to creating our main bus, which will serve as a starting point to our dynamic factory. So let's just get a few of these built, and my pickaxe is almost gone, so I'm going to make another one before it dies. And we'll just run these off to our main electric line. Up here, there we go. Let's get some furnaces. And we're going to do a very sort of basic smelter setup for the moment. So, I don't have splitters. Actually, yeah, let's get splitters first. Splitters are super useful, and we'll actually be needing them anyway, so might as well get them first. Plus, they don't require green science yet. So let's see what everything he's waiting for. Some iron. Some copper. Okay, so we're only going on to one side of the belt at the moment. That'll be fine. We'll do a splitter there, and we'll join it up here. Even though this is only going to be a very basic smelting setup, it's probably not going to be the one that we're going to run with when we do our dynamic factory. In fact, for our dynamic factory, because everything in the factory will be dynamic, even the smelter setup. Basically, each smelter line will have every possible thing that it can smelt as an input into it. And depending on what we need, it depends on how our circuit network will decide to allocate each smeltery. But because we're not nearly at that stage yet, what a great placement. There we go, much better. We're just going to do a very basic sort of setup. Just a 2x8. And we're... okay, we're still out of coal. Let's go up here. The sooner we get all our miners onto electric, the better. We can use all this coal to power all our electricity. So back down to get some more circuits. And let's do that. Okay, we're also going to want to expand our copper production, but we'll do it at the same time we're adding miners to it. So we're going to need a ring coal down here, which is going to be fun. So yeah, even though I don't plan for this to be anywhere near a permanent smelting setup, I'm still doing the normal, leave one between so that if we were replacing these with electric smelters, you don't actually have to resize anything. And we need 5 more. Okay, let's add some power poles. And our logistics is almost done. Which is good. I'm probably going to have to change the top half to be green science packs. So I can have the bottom half as red and the top half as green. What to get next? Let's get some conveyor belts so that we can, there we go. Actually, let's start that even though we're not ready for it yet. Actually, instead, how much is optics? 40. Start optics, and that way I can put up some lights so it's not annoyingly dark at night. Okay, some circuits. 2 electric mining drills should hopefully do. Not a great placement of everything, but it'll do. And we want a single burner inserter that'll pull out of that. And we'll actually make another one, just to make sure. Actually, we'll pull out of this one, and we'll feed into that one. So that way, if this one ever has extra, it'll always get added to our belt, even if we're out of energy. And actually, I want to make sure that we can never run out of power. So, I'm going to do a bit of a strange thing here. I'm going to actually run the belt like this. Yep. That way we pull out of this one, and it will have to pass by this burner inserter, which will make sure that this drill's always full. And then if this drill has some, it'll pass it down the line until this one gets some. So if we've got a fair few drills as backup. So let's just run this. Can't be bothered destroying a lot of trees yet. Will be good when I have grenades. Okay, let's just break this off here. And we'll run this line this way. Standing on the conveyor belts to get a bit of extra speed. And we'll go across to here and then down. Cool, optics is done. So some burner inserters to make sure that these never they don't have an issue if there's no electricity. If you run them with normal inserters, if there's no electricity, then there's no power to actually fuel the boilers. And so you can run into a negative feedback loop, where you need electricity to start it up again, but you don't have electricity. Very soon, we won't be needing to fuel all that. Actually, while we're here, let's get out to, so there and there. I'll actually angle that one that way, that like that. So this is where our coal will come in. Okay, I'll make some transport belts myself while I run over to here. Let's check trees. Okay, so I'm going to run the belt. I'm going to run it this way. was thinking I might run it past the the copper mine, and then down, but the issue is there's lots of trees down there, and I don't want to, spend time chopping down trees. Okay, that'll be fine. Now we're going to want to set up, as part of our ad hoc crafting systems, we're going to want to set up a system to make our conveyor belts, as well as underground belts and splitters, because we're going to be using quite a lot of them in the dynamic part of our factory. Just checking the volume levels. Yeah, they still seem to be fine. Actually, why is this not activating? I have a program on that's meant to duck Factorio's volume when I'm speaking, but it doesn't seem to be working at the moment. Oop. Wow. Okay, I'm getting massive lag all of a sudden. Soap. There we go, that's better. Okay, don't click on that button because that causes massive lag. It's a bit annoying. Let's just put that down a bit. Hopefully the ducker starts up. But it doesn't seem to be working at the moment. I'll have to look into that later. But yeah, there we go. Our iron smeltery is now on. Which is good. Some people wonder why you do a setup like this. The reason is that because we're feeding each of these splitters with only one belt, this way a whole belt can be used. Well, let's see. Okay, so you've got one belt coming in here and it gets split up half each way. So half a belt can go that way, half a belt can go that way, and that can be a fully compressed half belt. And because you've got another belt coming in this way and half of it going that way and half of it going that way, you can have a fully compressed half belt going north and a fully compressed half belt going south. So essentially, because you've got two input belts, you now also have two output belts. And so that way, if these are fully compressed, the north and south way can also be fully compressed. Now, yeah, that's all fine for the moment. I will probably start removing these now that I don't need them, and I'll start replacing them with electric mining drills. And we'll start working on piping our iron up to our ad hoc factory. We don't need that anymore. Let's just neaten this up a bit. Put that there, and here we will put splitters. Yeah, so to do that, you just middle mouse click on those inventory slots down there, and you can select what items can go in there. It started getting dark, so I'm going to put at least a few lights. And we'll get a few more circuits being produced so that we can make a few more electric miners. To get our copper line online. So I'll just run this way. And that's not the best place for it. I want to swap behind it so I can put a power pole. Whoa. Connect this to the network and get some lights up so we can see. There we go, much better. A light there, and we'll just connect them up. Okay, where are we going to put the smelting for this? I think we'll put the smelting up in this area. Yep, we'll put the smelting up here, and the green circuit production stuff, the green science production can be up here. Just put that there, get some more circuits. You know, the 6, are you out of iron? Okay. Thought that was out of copper for a moment, and that would have been slightly annoying. Just checking out how this is going. That seems to be going good. Actually, yeah, I might put down some radar dishes just so I can zoom in on the map to see all that. Another one of them, another one of them. And we'll put this line centered on there. And I'm going to need a run off to pick up some more stone. But I think for the moment we'll just set up at least 4 of these just so that we can get some copper smelting. I totally put these ones in the wrong spot. And it looks like YouTube has finally finished processing. So that's good. So that should be enough transport belt to get this whole setup done. Actually, yeah, you can put them there. That's actually better. It covers more inserters with the same number of power poles. Okay, that's the start of our setup done. I'm just gonna actually I'll put this on this side. That way. We'll run an iron line into here. Yeah, so this is a pretty spaghetti factory, and it's going to be a pretty spaghetti factory because this isn't the main factory that we're going to be dealing with. In fact, conveniently I can do that as well. Because of you, I'm not going to be able to pass this by all of these assembling machines. So we'll go this way instead. Just snake it around a bunch. Actually I could. I'll make that face that inserter. And on this one, face it that way. There we go. So we've got automated transport belt and circuit production. I mean, it's horrible in how it's set up, but it'll work, and that's all that matters for the moment. So now you can watch the long trek over to our stone mine through this annoying forest that I occasionally got stuck on till I chopped a bunch of trees. And yeah, good, we got some coal, so we can actually refuel these miners if we need to. Here we are. Yeah, we'll take all of the stone. Why not? We don't want to have to come back here too soon. Oh, I know what's going on. Just give me a second. That one. How's that? Oh, whoa, way too much docking. There we go, that's better. Because I closed down Factorio, it didn't have the process attached anymore. So it was going to duck a Factorio instance that didn't actually exist. But now it will duck the correct one, so that's good. Okay, well that's fine. So we are going to make a few more of them. Let's get some more going, and I'm going to set up a factory. Yeah, I'll keep it as a grey one. Actually, we can do it just here because wheels are so expensive. Gear wheels. I'm going to set up 2 factories just to make them for me, and we'll make 2 stacks. I think that'll be fine for the moment. And we'll lay down a few more lights. And then we'll lay down our extra furnaces. But first, just want to... Oh, the one spot that isn't actually connected. And there you go. One there, and I'll just put a last one there. Oh, that's nicer. That's better. The coal line might actually be in the way there. We need a few more transport belts. Cool, that actually managed to get a whole 2 stacks, so that's working fine. Get some circuits and we'll get some gears. And some iron plates. And now making inserters should be a lot quicker. Power them all up, and the expansion to our copper mine is now online. So I'm going to want a few more miners. Pick up those copper plates. I'll want a few more miners for my iron mine. At the moment our copper mine's probably pretty close to beating it. And yeah, we'll get a pair of radar dishes just so that I can look at this map and see how it's going when I'm not right on top of it. Don't need you, you, or you. In fact, how much do you have? You're almost done, so I'll let you just finish. There we go. We'll just, actually I'm going to pipe this into that splitter. It's not needed, but hey, there's no reason not to. We'll put this radar here. That lets us see most. I think another radar maybe up at the copper smelting area so we can see the coal. And that should be good for the moment. Okay, I think I want to pump a bit more coal. So I'm going to get a few more drills and I'm going to add them to the coal line. How's our boiler consumption? Okay, that's at full. Does that mean we're not on full energy? We're basically right on the edge. Okay. So we got 2 more, 4 more. And we'll deal with that for the moment. Actually just noticed that this isn't a good spot. Yes, I'm going to move them here. So I want this spot behind them again for power poles. Okay, now while watching over the video before I rendered it, I noticed that this is actually a bad spot for the labs because they're now in the way of where our steam tanks need to go. So we're going to have to move these labs. Well, that's okay. They were useful while they were there. Need another pipe and 2 more burner inserters. See there. And I think I'll pipe this up. I'll transport belt this up north instead. Now we don't need this anymore because this is going to turn into green science, so we get rid of this quick setup. Now the science labs are also kind of going to be part of our dynamic factory, but of course, you know, science labs can only do science. So, you know, you can't exactly have them be completely dynamic. But I think I'll be feeding them with a sushi belt. So basically one belt that feeds all the science labs, and it'll just try to keep a good mix of the science packs on it. Just want to make sure you're onto the correct side of the belt. And we'll just put these in there so they get emptied out onto the belt. I should be able to directly change this to green. Pick up those. Okay, now let's start our green production then. So green's going to need 3 of these is probably more than enough. You know, I could be figuring out all the ratios, but I'll do that later. Actually, it's probably not even needed for this because our factory is going to basically figure out all the ratios for us. So now I want transport belts. And do I want to pull them off here, or do I want to do something else? No, what we'll do, we'll leave those there. They can be for me to pick up when I need to use transport belts. Instead, we'll send this line up here. Enjoying this lovely spaghetti. Oh, big rock. I thought I had actually mined them all before I went over to the stone mine, but I missed one. Okay, so set up a transport belt factory here. So you'll make our stone gears and you will make our transport belts. And you'll actually be connected. Okay, and transport belts can go straight onto the line, so that's half of our green science packs done. Just thinking, okay, that's fine. I'll run the inserters in this way. So we'll put the inserter, yeah, good. The inserter factories can go here. Inserters also require gears, and they require circuits and iron plates. Gears, iron plates, and circuits. Okay. Actually, you make them every half a second, don't you? So you're the same speed as a gear. So I really only need one of these for the moment. I don't think I'm going to get quite enough throughput to justify having more than one. Do that. And actually we only need one, so we'll just do it to there. Okay. So that will make us our stone gears. They'll go on the bottom of the belt. The top of the belt we have our iron plates, and they'll just go into here. The only thing we're missing now is circuits. Now we can pull our circuits straight from here, but how do we get them to the top? We'll reroute this coal slightly, and we'll just bring it around this way. Actually, you're kind of in the way there. Cool, now we can just run over to our transport belt storage area and pick up our 200 that it had stockpiled for us. And we now just need a long-handed inserter, not a pipe. Put it here. So you make these every half second, you should make these every 6 seconds with one of each. And you should make a circuit every half second. So that looks like that's basically everything to get at least the lowest tier of our green science bottles done. Oh, and it's already been about half an hour. Well, I guess there we go. That's our second episode. So we've got green science connected. Actually, I'll put down this just to finish this episode off. I wonder how well YouTube will deal with the slight graininess here. Okay, so we've got our iron mine set up, our iron furnace set up with a very basic one that we're gonna change to our dynamic one once we get circuits set up and all of that set up. We've got a bit more steam power. We've got our red and green science packs all set up. Green science pack should be running at 10 per second, which is the same as the red. I think 4, 6, 8, 10. Good. So we're getting even numbers of... No, actually, we're getting slightly less green science because they're every 12 seconds. So we're getting a red science every half and a green science slightly less than that. Yep. Our copper mine set up nicely, and our copper furnace is set up nicely, and we've got our coal mine set up. So I think that's a good place to end this second episode. Again, if you've got any questions, comments, anything you want to say, just leave a message down in the discussion and I'll try to get to everyone I can. Otherwise, this is Jack P1024 signing off.